Good evening, good evening, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this August 25th Couples and Money Open Session. It's wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to be here with you in warm, well, not so warm, neither is it so cold, Zambezi. Would like to know where you are joining us from. And today I'm joined by a co-host. My name is David O. Sijenyi, and I'm joined by Kathy Namasaka.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this session.
Kathy, where are you joining us from?
I'm right here in the city in the sun, Nairobi.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So please do tell us where you're joining us from. Put it in the chat and just go to the chat. You can see the chat button there. Click on it, type in your name, and just tell us where you're joining us from. Well, we can kind of see your name, but just type in where you're joining us from. But even as you do that, we'll just open this with a word of prayer. Kathy, do you want to pray for us as we start?
Sure. In fact, someone asked me, oh, it's Pastor Carol and Pastor M. They're asking, what son? Cheers. But yeah, wherever you are, may the Lord shine on you. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you so much for this wonderful evening here in Nairobi and wherever people are watching us from. We thank you for those who have joined this call and those who are yet to join us. And we just want to commit this time into your hands. We commit the seminar into your hands, and everything that we do, Lord, may it be for your glory. We pray for good network. We pray that we'll be in sync with your spirit. We invite your spirit to lead and guide us, and whatever secrets and tips that we learn, may we not just be hearers, but also doers of your word. In Jesus' name we have prayed, and can I hear an amen?
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
As you may have noticed, we have a poll up. And so please just fill in the poll so then we know who's in the room and what the representation of the people here looks like. But also, if you know of a friend of yours that needs to be here today, tell them Couples and Money Open Session is on. They need to get in here fast and they need to join us and hear about the 4 challenges that all couples go through and what to do about them. So fill in the poll. If you can't see the poll, just click on the more button on your device and you should see polls there. Click on polls and you can be able to fill in the polls. Catherine, I don't know if you can see where people are joining us from.
Yes, I can. There's someone who's saying that they're joining us from Kiambu County.
Kiambu County.
Yes.
I think Naftali is joining us from Nairobi as well.
Kampala.
Kampala. There's somebody, Roger, from Kikuyu.
Yes, and we have Moses Mwangi from Kajiado.
I can see Anthony from not very far away, Odero, and Frederick as well, also from Kikuyu.
Sylvia from Kericho County.
And Alice Yaga says she's joining us from Nairobi. Roysambu people are in the house.
Dorcas, and Kisumu City as well.
The city is represented.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So please do let us know where you're joining us from, even as we continue. So Catherine, what do you do just so that people know who you are?
Well, I'm a wellness warrior. You may be asking, what's that? I'm passionate about keeping healthy and fit through exercise and dance. Dance is my first passion. And I created a form of dance exercise, which is called Afrobics. So if you go online, you'll catch me as Kathy Afrobics. And I have engaged with other trainers, created a few videos that you can do from home. But more than that, I'm married, 2 children, and together with my husband, we have a gym called Phil Fitness Center. And we are so passionate. We call ourselves wellness warriors, but more than that, we are passionate about people and couples keeping healthy and fit. And we are also facilitators on this program. So this is our 2nd season. Yep.
Wow. How do I go after that, Kathy? It's supposed to be like just Nene, quickly, and then now I have to follow suit. Anyway, by the way, talking about Afrobeats, I should be signing up soon. I've been feeling a bit dancey lately, and I still owe your husband, by the way, to sign up at the gym. Anyway, that said, I am a corporate events facilitator. We run an organization called Pochino Consulting Limited with my wife, Roguru. And together we run trainings, we run consultancies, but my passion is being in front of people and running programs. So whether it's birthdays, no, well, maybe not birthdays, but corporate events, your business is doing events, you're doing some events at your church, you're doing some events where you'd like some moderation and facilitation, we are your people. And Catherine here also does the same. So if you're looking for MCs, we are here for you. But otherwise, I'm a certified coach, I'm a trainer and a business consultant, and it's an honor to be here. Evelyn, it's great to see you. Yes, indeed, from Kiambu, the Degwa, and looking forward to catching up maybe after this. Awesome. So this event is sponsored by Couples and Money, Catherine. Tell us a bit more about some of the topics that are covered, because Couples and Money is an event where we watch. It's an online class where each week we watch a 30-minute video. We discuss it with our spouses every once a week. We meet online in groups of 4 to 5 couples, and we discuss what we are learning. What are some of the topics, Catherine, that we...
Yes, my laptop is doing a number on me. However, I am connected now. Our topics include your money personality, how to defeat debt, creating a family vision and mission, creating an intentional money journey, building passive income, and teaching your kids about money, and so many more.
And so many more. You know, we normally say that it's not just a class, but a mentoring experience. And each of our facilitators is also walking through the journey. So Catherine and I are facilitators. I facilitate with my wife. Catherine and her husband also facilitate. And our expectation is that we'll work together to ensure that every couple is creating wealth that doesn't harm them, but instead helps them make a difference. We are passionate about seeing your generations thrive.
Most of the people,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Over to you, Kathy.
Most of the people on the call have actually done this class. So we want to invite people. I think you want to talk about the special couple who will be joining us. You want to welcome them?
Yes, indeed. And we just want to, at this moment, welcome Duncan and Harriet Maluku. They have gone through Couples and Money, and they were gracious enough to share with us what their journey has been like. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi.
Wonderful. It's great to have you. And I'll just hand over to Kathy to take us through the interview.
Okay. Wonderful. I think Duncan and Harriet, you can just start off by telling us a little bit about you, who you are and what you do.
Great. Thank you. And, you know, we are very glad to be here. We're very delighted. My name is Duncan. My wife is Harriet. We are the Malukus. We've been married since 2014. We have got 3 lovely children. Troy, who's turning 10, Ezra's turning 6, and we have a COVID baby girl, the apple of our eye. She's called Sifa, and yeah, we are very happy to have been part of the Couples and Money. I am an entrepreneur. I'm an MC. I'm very passionate about events, so put me in that category. Over and above that, I'm also in the space of aggregation. I partner with telcos to be able to spread children's content in the digital space. So COVID was something, of a blessing to us, and God has been faithful at that end. My wife here, Harriet, is what you call a pro Admin Pro. Admin Pro. She's she's been an admin for over 14 years now, 14 years. And she is the best that you can get in the industry. At the moment, she works at a financial organization called Mara, the Maraverse. If you Google Maraverse, you'll be able to find it there. So that's about us. And, you know, we had an interesting journey, you know, working the money, couples and money season. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Duncan. Maybe Harriet can answer. When did you join Couples and Money, and how has that changed your lives?
We joined in June, I think beginning of June. It's been all series of everything you can think of. We've gone through the entire, we did the entire season together with him. At some point, I almost dropped off of the class because I felt there was too much pressure. But then it was good pressure. Our facilitators have been very supportive, and Couples and Money has changed our lives extremely. We are debt-free from when we started Couples and Money. Our debts goes, you know, way back. But even before finishing class, we had organized ourselves, we had organized our finances, and we are now debt-free. And so that's the biggest impact that it's had on us. But over and above that, it's just been able to have the money conversation, which never used to happen in our house. Duncan, just like, you know, when we're starting Couples and Money, the first thing they introduced is how your history affects your behavior with money. It is not a lie. It is true 100%. I come from a background where my father was the spearhead of finances, and my mother and stepmother were behind the scene. And so when I came into the marriage, I just told Duncan, money is your business, and I don't want to know anything about it. For us, the game changer was we lost our father to COVID at the peak of COVID, and we saw how it had affected my stepmother. And Duncan put his foot down and said, we had heard about the class. He said, for sure, we are doing this class. You need to learn about money. I need to learn about money because we cannot be caught surprise. We don't want any surprises when it comes to money. And so that's how this journey started for us. And, you know, as I mentioned, at some point, I almost dropped off. The pressure was too much. But then we came to realize that there was pressure because there was need for us to do something right. And so we kept on, we speared on with the class.
And I guess we finished there.
We finished together.
Awesome. Give us one. Awesome. Give us one practical thing that happened. I'm sure you guys, you know where I'm going, but please, Duncan, share with us that practical example that happened in your money journey.
Yeah, so lesson 2, dealing with debt. So I had been accumulating debt for good reason. You know, we had this mortgage, well, not mortgage, but we had bought our home last year, and we had a balance. And so we needed to pay off the balance. So I went everywhere to borrow. And, you know, my wife was happy, you know, we have a home, and that was it. And so when we, you know, started discussing our financials during the debt class, in fact, we went for a money date. And I mean, I think it was the worst experience of a date that we've ever been to, because I brought it up, you know, I told her, this is how our books look like. And I had been saving up, despite the fact that we had debt, I'd been saving up for a car for her because, you know, she's an amazing woman. I wanted to upgrade her, but you know, and we had some fights before because I'd not, you know, lived up to the T. So anyway, we did it. And when I told her this is how we are, how things are looking, she just looked at me and said, because we are doing Couples and Money, we're not buying a car. That money that you have saved for the car, imagine we are paying off all our debt. And now she asked for the books. I started being fidgety. At some point, I just upped and left the restaurant. In fact, I didn't pay for her bill. I just went. I was so frustrated because for the longest time, I've been the person who's been directing and managing our money journey. And now here she is, and she's making demands. This was not it was not a no. She said, take this money, put it here. Take this one, put it here. And so, yeah, after that, let's just say God has been gracious. We've been able to settle all our debts. And, we thank God for that journey.
Just to add to what he's saying, it's interesting how you have debt, yet you have something that you want, and it's not a need, it's a want. And you're just ready to overlook the debt very easily and go for the want. And I think for me, that's for us, that's the biggest wake-up call for us. Like we are about to make decisions together. For the longest time, we had been making decisions. And when listening to Kina Pastor M talking and saying how giving experiences and stories of how someone died and left debt, these things happen. If we had not done this class, we would probably, because we have combined income right now, it's easier. But when one income is out and only one is there and you have that kind of debt, how do you survive? And so just that sacrifice of saying, and trust me, I wanted that car. Why? I wanted that car.
Okay.
I wanted it. But I was just like, no, it's a want, Duncan. We have 2 cars. We are able to move from point A to B. Forget about the car and let's focus on paying the debts.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing so authentically. I'm sure a lot of people relate with your story. And a lot of people have been inspired by you. Keep winning and keep that money journey. Over to you, CJ.
Thank you.
Wow. What an interview. I mean, we should get these guys back. I feel like there are stories they were holding on to. Somebody asked me on private, so now that Duncan, you left her, how did she get home when you left the restaurant?
There's 2 cars.
Police a cab home. Anyway, wow, amazing. So these are the kind of stories that we hear every day, every time, couples and money. And today we'll be talking about the 4 challenges that all couples go through and what to do about those challenges. Now, Kathy, I wonder what some challenges in your marriage have been.
I'm having a challenge right now. You've thrown me under the bus. But
I've seen Mr. Ramasaka on the call.
And that was not in the script. However, I will fondly remember how it was so hard to get my husband on board. He was not boarding, but finally we're here, and he's actually leading this whole campaign of get couples out of debt, get couples, because God has been so gracious and we are out of debt. Our testimony is that it's not even a year since we joined Couples and Money, but we are debt-free, and to God be the glory.
Amazing. I think one of our greatest challenges was just aligning our money plans with our money actions. So we would plan and would even do budgets. But the ending up of those budgets on action matters was a story. I think I was very much like Duncan. So I was running the show. I was handling things. Let me tell you, the withdrawal when last year we decided, or early this year we decided, you know what, Rogoro? How about you look at the finances? It's like going on cold turkey when you're a junkie. That's what I was experiencing. Because I was like, why don't I have money? I'm used to having money. I'm always having money. Why don't I have money? But it was because of the decisions that we had taken. So today, to take us through this wonderful topic is an amazing couple. And they are both pastors, authors, entrepreneurs, mentors to many, fathers to many, mothers to many, fathers to many. Well, both of them are trained in theology. while Caro is trained as a marriage and family therapist. They have been married for 28 years, and the evidence between them is 3 children currently entering their adulthood. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome this wonderful couple. They are spiritual authorities, my wife and I, and many others. Pastor Caro and Pastor M. Karibuni sana. And over to you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's great to be here. We're rocking our Couples and Money.
I want.
Yeah, but it's great to be here, and thank you guys for being here. We're gonna just start by sharing the poll results, and you can see them on your screen. Quite a few couples, 0 to 5 years. Honeymooners, come on, we love that.
Yeah.
And then we've got 11 to 20 as the next big slot. These ones are
I wonder what happens between 6 and 10.
6
Where
and 10.
do people drop off?
6 and 10, you're like,
You're
God,
actually
are we going to
like
make
a
it? Are we
little-
going to make it? And then 11 and 20, you're like, okay, there's hope.
Yes,
Let's
I think that's what happens.
and
And
then,
now we're the minority in the 21 to 30.
yes, can you believe
We
it?
were
Well, they're not
actually-
over 30, so there's quite a
Yeah,
young crowd today.
Yeah.
And then have you done Couples and Money? About 60% have not.
Not,
So,
which is
woo,
good.
so good.
That's good.
And then what other topics would you like discussed? Like
Really?
communication is like the biggest deal here.
Yeah.
And so it's really good to see that. Can I confess what I wrote anyway? Okay, let me just move on. And then how did you learn about this
Why
event?
don't you say what surprised you? There are no Jamal's doing this
No,
poll.
that didn't surprise me. Why are you saying it surprised me?
Well, I mean, I thought sex is a big one.
So why don't you say it surprised you and you're saying it surprised me?
That's not a
Okay,
surprise.
Pastor Carol was surprised that there's no sex in that story.
Like,
But it's
okay,
still, it's like 44 out of 88. That's not kidogo.
yeah.
And then how did you learn about this event? Friends is the
It's
biggest way.
56.
Quite a few on WhatsApp and email as well.
So is it WhatsApp their status, or is it someone just WhatsApped you, or
Well, if
maybe
it's
that-
someone who WhatsApp you, then to be
it
friend,
could be friend,
but
yeah.
it's probably somewhere in between. So awesome. Well, this is so good, and we're so happy to be here. Thank you to Duncan and Harriet for the awesome
Very
testimony.
nice.
Thank you, the Sijenis and Namasakas. Did you notice all of them had like a debt freedom story?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
that was
so
incredible. I mean, I
incredible.
didn't even know that about you guys. And in times like these, somebody wrote WhatsApp status.
Thank you so much, Brian, for clarifying for me.
In times like this, and we talked about this on Saturday when we had a graduation event for the last season. Crisis times always come. They're regular, they're cyclical. And those are the times those are the times that help you understand the dangers of debt. And so just to see so many couples, and I think for me, just to see 100% of the couples who shared today, people who are saying we actually managed to get out of debt, and we'll make it 100% because we'll say we're not in debt either as a couple. And there's a freedom of just operating that way, just discovering there are other ways to fund business, there are other ways to manage life without using debt. And that's just one of the great things we learn on Couples and Money. So great job, guys. We're so excited about that. Welcome to Couples and Money today. And we're actually supposed to talk about the 4 challenges that every marriage goes through and what to do about it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about. So should I ask a question as we start? Okay. Okay, we'll start with a question. And the question is, what financial decision have you made that you've later regretted? Okay. We just want to hear from a few of you, but just if you're able to just write on your chat, you're one of those people who can type fast. What is a financial decision that you made as a couple, as an individual? Maybe you made it and your spouse didn't know, and then later you regretted it because when she found out or he found out, whatever it was. What's like a financial decision you made? That you later regretted.
Do you have any?
Do I have financial decisions that I later regretted? Yeah, I was just thinking about one today. Let's see, what was it?
For 28 years of marriage, they tend to fade in the background.
No. I think there's some I feel like part of the challenge back in the day is I feel like we were too conservative financially.
In investments, huh?
Yes. So I was good at savings, but nobody taught me about investments.
Yeah.
And so I think there's some places where we kept money, and inflation always eats your money. If you have a fat bank account, and I used to love just going to I think even both of us
actually
would love going to the bank account and just
Looking at
punch
the
in, check your
numbers.
balance, and you're like, well done, come on.
Yeah.
But you don't understand. I mean, I was telling guys that in the last 2 years, for example, inflation on the Kenyan shilling has been 14%, negative 14%. So if you put your money in savings 2 years ago and haven't touched it, it's lost 14% of its value, which means actually your money should have been invested at least 7% to stay even, to be able to buy what it was buying 2 years ago. And so that was just one of those mistakes of just not understanding the power of investment. Okay, I can see CJ said we took a loan where we wanted to buy some land as a group. We're the only ones who took the loan. Oh gosh.
Wow.
I hope
As if they didn't.
Oh gosh, I managed not to take the loan for the entire time I'd worked with my organization. It cost me my credit rating. You took a loan for others. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Rehab says investment in Forex collapsed a year later. Yes, you've heard about those Forex deals. A lot of people are selling Forex as the greatest thing. And the crazy thing about Forex is just like any other business. It's not a bad business, but you have to understand it. And somebody said venturing into Ponzi schemes. Okay, Ponzi schemes, you honestly can't, you can't be helped. Those ones are just,
It's a Ponzi
let me just tell you, those are dangerous and they're crazy. And a lot of people just got suckered by those ones.
Brian says he's 10 days married. He has none.
Brian, no.
And I hope he doesn't collect.
Okay, I'm glad you're here. This is why you're here.
Yeah.
Okay. David says another one. I was investing in a business where the actual business was the money we're putting in as investment money. What? That just sounds scary. Joseph Minor says pyramid scheme. Mercy says business loan for investments which fail in a year. Ouch.
Think about these businesses when we are writing business plans, it looks so amazing.
It always looks amazing.
That Excel
I was talking
sheet.
to a friend yesterday who was asking me about a business plan. One of the things I just told him is there's not enough money to fund this business. You always have enough money to start the business, but nobody tells you how much you're going to have to go without getting profit, because you always think the profit will start coming immediately.
Oh, businesses.
And so so many businesses fail in that first year for that reason. Gideon talks about what a plot lost cash.
Wow.
But you're discussed, which is a good, when you discuss it with your spouse, at least you fail together. You know, there's no bad feelings.
And then there's someone else who had said over here, taking loan to pay loan.
Taking loan to
that
pay
is
loan.
Called
ouch.
Poesharing. What do you call it?
Yes, you're borrowing here to pay this one. And that's always not a good idea. I took a loan of a huge amount without telling my husband. Whoa. All right.
Thank God now we are debt free.
I love it.
Or most probably you felt usually the spouse who does that feels the other spouse is holding them back.
Yes. So you move ahead.
Like, let's just move on.
And then, loaned out money without consulting with my wife. Those ones are there. When repayment became a problem, I had to let her know. Ouch, 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 ouch.
It was truly dramatic.
Dramatic. That's drama. That's just, mobile loans were the trap. Those ones, I'm telling you, those ones have trapped enough people. Worst mistake was to buy Safaricom IPO using a credit card. Ouch. And that was a mistake because, I mean, there are people who we made money from Safaricom.
But there are people who actually took loans.
You see, the thing about it is it was one of those shares that you bought and then it went down. And of course, people had seen Kengen and other ones that you had bought and then it went up. And so, of course, then it's like, you know, they always tell you past performance is no guarantee of future performance. So people then lost, if you ever borrowing to invest is always a dicey thing. And so that's a really interesting one Robinson wrote.
Still tells me I give away her car in that oh my goodness, even a car.
Man, I think we need to pray after this. Like I can just see there's a lot of pain. It's not just us. I mean, people here have made some serious mistakes. And I mean, as we go along, I mean, today we're going to be talking about challenges that couples make. But you know, some of those things actually are filtered through some of the challenges that every family goes through. And you know, some of the mistakes we make actually come from these. And as we go along, then you'll be able to see maybe some of these actually play into why we made those crazy mistakes. And so we're going to be talking about the 4 challenges. And these are challenges that we've learned just from experience, our own experience, but also working with many couples, with hundreds of couples over the years. I don't even know if it's thousands, but it's been many couples later. It must be thousands actually, because today I was talking to one of our mentor couples we've mentored, and they were telling us how they've mentored hundreds of couples.
About 300.
And so because there are many that we've mentored who are like that, so I'd say then thousands of couples that we've mentored over the years. And just from experience, the experiences we've seen at least these 4 challenges. There are others, but these ones we find every family goes through them. And as we talk, maybe you can just be taking notes and seeing how this affects you, how this is part of your own background, your own challenges. But the first one I'll talk about is different family backgrounds. Different family backgrounds. Every family, I mean, this sounds obvious, but it gets really obvious once you're married. Huh? Every family is really different. And when you're dating, you don't think like that. When you're young, you don't think like that. It's like some families are extremely open about money. Other families are extremely secretive about money. So imagine, I mean, I've seen, and we've seen that one, where as a very open family person comes into a marriage with a very close family, secretive family.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
I mean, you can't even have that conversation.
It is so crazy. I mean, it's just like, we don't talk. And those are the families where it's like, we don't tell people that mom is sick. We don't, there are those rules, you know, it's like, we don't tell people that we're having financial issues. And the other person's like, but why? But it's like, there's a rule. We just don't do that. And those family backgrounds can cause enough rifts. Many times we don't see them as we're coming into them.
Yeah. And even sometimes it might just be like if someone is coming from very open and the other one very secretive. So the secretive one might even feel that they're being infringed on. I mean, why do you want to know what I'm earning? I mean, you know, let's just agree what everyone is contributing. The rest, that is my business.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
why do we need to go for a class where we might have to tell people that the issues we're facing?
Oh yeah, that's
and the other person's like, but we need help, you know, and it's like, it just can cause such a challenge.
Yeah.
Imagine that person who's taught African men don't talk.
Actually, before you even talk about the African men, there are times when I feel people saying, I can't discuss my issues in a class setting. I mean, that is too much for me. So that guy who's taught that African men don't talk about money, and his wife is taught, people talk. Yeah.
She saw the parents sharing. The father would come home with his pay slip. In fact, he'd give the mother money and tell her, you sort out. And then, of course, you have such different expectations because of your family backgrounds. Or imagine that man, again, who comes from a family. And by the way, these are not theoretical. These are stories I'm actually sharing with people in mind. Imagine that person who, I mean, the guy saw his parents even having joint bank accounts. And then he married a woman who was taught, hey, your money is ours.
Yeah.
But my money
is mine.
It's my business. And again, these are common situations that cause such tension, such challenge.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
Or, you know, sometimes, there are people, and when you're coming into marriage, you have a huge responsibility. There are those who have huge responsibilities to look after their younger siblings.
Yeah.
And then you marry somebody who is from a very comfortable background, and they're not quite understanding this whole carrying of siblings or carrying of parents.
Maybe there were two of them and the parents were well off.
Yeah.
And it's like,
you're carrying your whole village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you married your village.
Yeah. So in-law issues just come up there.
Drama. I remember one movie we watched where the couple was having an argument, but the way the movie did it, just as a symbolism, they were in bed having this argument. But then in the next scene, you see the guy, then you see his parents on this side, and then you see the woman and her parents on that side. So in other words, the argument is not between the two of them.
Yeah,
it's between this guy, his parents, which is his family background, and then this woman, half up, and it's like the two families are actually fighting every time these guys have a conflict. It is so true. And it's such a huge issue, this family backgrounds.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to find out what people, even as we're talking, what are some of the differences, even as we have shared, what are some of the differences that you've experienced in your own relationship?
Yeah, if you're able to share, at least maybe think about differences in family background that may have been a challenge. Those of you who've been married for a little bit, what are some of the differences you've seen in family background? I mean, one of our differences is your parents came from a business family.
Yeah.
And business, basically back in those days, business people, at least your parents did well in their business. So you had these moments when there would be a lot of money.
Yeah, there would be.
And so you didn't grow up with that thought of
savings,
like money. You always knew money will come. It'll come. And so money was there to be enjoyed. Now I grew up civil servant. I mean, my dad he had a good position in government, but he was very, very, very saved. He was not one of
So
those
he
guys who
did.
could use his position for himself. In fact, he was like, that, in fact, just because I'm in this position, I will not take advantage
Yeah.
of anything.
So there was no procurement.
And
issues with it.
I thank God for him that he was that person.
Mhm.
But the problem is then I grew up with that message of, hey, it's never enough. You know,
Yeah.
like
Mm.
tighten your belt.
Mhm.
There's never going to be enough money. There's just enough for us to be okay. We're not badly off, but we're okay.
Mhm.
And then I marry this woman who
Yeah, it's
is like,
terrible.
money comes. What's your
Yeah.
problem? Money
Yeah.
doesn't end.
And it's still I mean, I still notice like with the kids, you'll tell them save.
Yeah, I'm like,
For me, I'm
hey,
like, let
be
them just
careful.
enjoy the money. and
Yeah, they've got their
save.
job. It's like, what? Enjoy money. You're a young person. Say.
And then they're going to save, but let them first
I
experience
mean,
the
this is 28 years
sweetness.
of marriage later. Our parents are still speaking.
Yes, it's
So,
okay.
so I can see CJ says parents who invested well and guaranteed their post-employment income, and parents who
did
didn't.
not. Yeah,
So again, you come from those families where one invested well, one didn't, and it's
Mm.
like those two family backgrounds clash.
Yeah, and then then in-law issues. I mean,
Yeah, are you able to write? Maybe some of these things are too painful. You guys don't write.
well,
No, I don't know. I
just-
mean,
just
we're
because
a
I'm
real
able to
community.
write, yeah.
Rose Barasa says just in dating and PMCC, his background is more of the mother carrying the family,
Wow.
and he has to support the siblings and
Wow.
parents. My background, we're well taken care of and invested in education plus land.
Land.
Not just education, by the way,
Mm.
plus land.
Yeah.
So you come into this place with a very, I mean, that already just gives you very different approach
Yeah.
to life.
In
And
fact,
it gets really intense when you're in that space where
when-
you're like,
in
wow.
fact, I remember there's one lady who, for them, education was so important. And so when they got married, for her, she's willing to spend whatever amount on education.
Wow.
So if the husband ever were to say, look, we have to think about our retirement.
Just hold off that master's first. And
Yeah,
let's
hold
deal
off.
with
I mean,
other
it's
things.
because an emotional. Our children need to have the best education.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So those are not, they're interesting because they're emotive conversations and you're
Mhm.
wondering, why are you being emotional? But it's an emotional thing because this is how life is meant to be.
yeah.
And it's hardwired because of your family background. Okay, please, I'm still waiting for a few more people to put their comments. What are some of the differences you guys have seen? I hope you're having a conversation if you're with your spouse. But that is a challenge that every family will go through.
That's
And
true.
unfortunately, it's one that many times you're not prepared for because you
Mhm.
just didn't know.
Yeah.
There was no way I'd have known this until we were actually married and
Mm.
together.
Yeah.
So that's the first one.
Yeah, the second one is different personalities and, different money personalities. There are some people who are spenders, and I think that came out as well, background and whatever. But so maybe someone came from a poor background
Yeah.
as a family, and when they grew up, they said they would never find themselves suffering
In that
again.
place,
Yeah, they're like, brokenness is not me. It's like a prison break. You're just out of there. You don't want anything to do with brokenness. So when the money comes, they spend, someone doesn't feel poor. Or perhaps there's always enough money, so they never had to think about tomorrow. And, for someone like this, I think, money just is magically there. And so they spend, they just
Yeah.
find themselves
Money is there
spend.
to be spent.
Money is there to be spent.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this happens, but will you find opposites attracting?
Hmm.
The spenders are attracted to the hoarder. I don't even know how that happens. It's not that you admire how the other person saves, I don't know, but that's the way it happens. Then
The hoarders are the next ones, which
yeah.
we're going to talk about, because I think hoarders are those people who, I mean, they just want to amass money. And like we said, I was that person. But they could either come from poor families or families where there was just enough. So you just feel safe by seeing money in the bank. Or maybe they saw their families actually have money, waste it, and end up not doing well.
Yes.
And we've seen all kinds. I mean, hoarding can come from all kinds of backgrounds.
Yes.
It could be many times it's fear driven. But again, you marry somebody who's a spender.
Yes.
And again, you just find your personalities have led you in two very different directions.
Yeah.
And that's a crazy one.
It is really crazy.
And then, of course, now one other type that I think of that again is very interesting is the avoider. And the avoiders are those who just don't like thinking or talking about money.
Yeah.
It makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Those are the people who don't even want to know how much is in their account.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just stressful. Huh? It's like, it's either unspiritual or maybe it'll bring a negative emotions, just too much drama.
Around just
too much drama,
money.
And so you get a spender or a hoarder married to an avoider, or a spender married to an avoider.
I'm sure
And sometimes the avoider can actually act like you're just being unspiritual. Why are you worried about money?
Why are you worried?
Let's just trust God.
Yeah.
It can sound very spiritual.
Yeah. Maybe when their spouse is saying, we need to invest, we need to save, all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
The avoider,
And it
can
makes it
become-
hard to have a rational conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, just would love to hear from the people on the call. Okay, I can see somebody wrote, we rarely ate at restaurants, so now we find an excuse to eat in one.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
that's a family thing.
Yeah.
Where like in our family, we didn't do this. Huh?
Yeah.
So again, it's just interesting. Separation and divorce in old age made me very well invested. My very well invested parents, relatively poorer, and now affects our pockets. These are
Yeah.
family background issues,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
And they affect us, whether we want them to or not, they affect us.
Yeah.
So let's talk about personalities then. Are you a hoarder? Are you a spender? Are you an avoider? And what's your spouse? So maybe you can write husband, H,
Wifey.
wife, husband, H, wifey, S. You can
Or
put
even hubby, S, wifey, A.
H, A, yeah.
Yeah.
So just indicate. I think we said your tendency was to be the spender. My
yeah.
tendency was to be the hoarder. Hopefully, we are both a lot better off now.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still resort to type when
Imagine
chaos comes.
Oh,
but fortunately, I think with time, there's just an opportunity to keep growing and getting better at
I
this.
think the other day the kids were trying to tell me, but mommy, or Zito was trying to tell me we can't spend reward. I didn't even listen to that story.
Yes, he ignored.
But it
Okay.
was very little. money.
Hoarder, spender. You can see the wife spender, husband spender, wife hoarder, husband avoider, wife spender. I mean, it's like the combinations are really different. It's
yeah.
not a gender thing. My husband prefers a well-stocked home food-wise.
Very
We can be
good.
suffering in the account, but there's bacon and sausage
sausages in the
in the fridge.
Good food makes him feel like
I-
home.
Yeah, and if you explore the background, you'll actually see that there's something that comes from somewhere. It just didn't appear by itself, huh?
Yeah, wife spender, husband hoarder. That's from Mombi and Nahwa.
Yeah, those nice shoes won't wear themselves. That's something that Rose was told. Hoarder, spender, you can see husband hoarder, wife spender,
The husband was an A, avoider.
avoider, that
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wife
you can see
S,
there's just
husband, spender, wife.
you-
Wow,
you
just
you
so
can
many
see
combinations.
the combinations are really
H,
interesting.
avoider. Husband
Yeah.
is avoider. And
Yeah.
wife is, oh my goodness, when you have,
Spender, Daphne
Wow,
or both.
or
And says,
both.
can we be the same?
oh.
Yes, you can.
can.
And yeah, usually there's one who's a little less than the other, but you can actually end up tending towards a similar direction. And
know
that's a
what?
scary thing.
That's a scary. I saw someone over there who one is an avoider and the other one is a spender. So the spender must have a very good time.
Oh yeah, because they're not being
No one
checked.
is checking.
Well, there can be something called, what is it called? Passive aggressive. Yes. Cash flow, the double spenders. Well, you probably need some external help. That's why you're in couples and money, because left to yourselves, you're going to be in trouble as two spenders.
One boy mine is asking, what's an avoider?
What's an avoider? The avoider is a person who just does not want to engage with the topic of
Money.
money. They're uncomfortable talking about it, thinking about it.
Yeah,
They don't want to enter conversations. They just rather not know.
yeah.
Yeah.
They'd rather give away the
They can be
whole
very
money.
generous. Yeah.
No, they even want, you just handle the money.
Or give it to the other person
Yeah,
to
just
manage.
handle.
Yeah, my husband he's got an education. Let him just manage the money.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't even want to know.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to the third one then. The third challenge that many couples will face. So we've talked about backgrounds, we've talked about temperaments, but unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
Unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
And in Doha, we talk about 4 stages of marriage.
Yeah.
One of the things we learned as a young couple, and some of you who've done Doha, you know this, is that when you get married, you're always in a very unrealistic space in your life.
Mhm. Those
if
are
you-
the 0 to 5s right now.
Well, I don't know if it
Maybe
goes that
0
far.
to
Many times it
1.
doesn't last that long.
Yeah.
But in the Bible, when God puts Adam to sleep and then brings Eve to him, there's a reason why he does that. And I suspect it's because if the guy really understood the depths of marriage, he'd be like, let's just be 2 single people in the garden. I mean, marriage takes faith.
Yeah.
And God knows that there's some steps you have to go through to actually become really happily married. And those steps, you almost have to enter into it blindly. So that's why they say love is blind, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. So
And then marriage is the
marriage is
eye
the
opener.
eye-opener, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe with those unrealistic views of your partner or your spouse, then even when it comes to something like money, you can have very unrealistic expectations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
You close your eyes.
mm,
When you see they're overspending
mm,
and you look at their habits and you're like, you usually figure,
mm,
I'll fix this.
mm,
This one will fix,
Yeah.
and you sort of just you don't want to argue in that stage. You're very lovey-dovey.
or even you can even have someone who you're bailing out all the time.
Yeah.
And someone is like,
And
what?
you're excusing where
You're
they are.
excusing. So you're bailing them out even when you're dating. and you're like, and usually the person who's being bailed out, they have very good reasons. And it could be like, I'm in school. I think there are times when you have professional people who remain in school for a long time. Or I'm just doing this business, it's going to pick up. I need you to bail me out, just for now. So, and you at that time, you're not questioning that kind of a thing.
Or they're from a good family.
Yeah.
So there's some financial security in marrying them. Or, they're always, or they seemed to let me be when we were dating. They had no questions. They were so accepting. So it's almost like, you know what, this is how marriage is going to be. And many times what happens is in the early stage of marriage, we can actually be it's okay. Let's just keep the status quo.
Yeah.
But typically what happens is after that dream stage comes drama. And drama is when you get to a place where you cannot be nice anymore.
Whatever it is, it's now in your face and it's irritating.
And the differences have to be dealt with. That's what drama is about. Every couple goes through drama. Yeah. Every couple goes through drama. That's one of the things we teach. And that you have to go through it. I mean, in corporate terms, they call it the storming stage of marriage, of organizational or whatever. It's like every marriage has to go through storming. It has to go through drama. And drama is when you actually now start saying no, just because your family said that you support all your brothers. That right?
It's not even
what
realistic.
Is our future? It's not even realistic. And the other person now starts to push back like, no, but your family is rich. They don't need us. And that's when now you have a lot of conflict and challenge. But many times what people don't understand is every couple has to go through this. Yeah. And so this is one of the challenges many couples go through. But the problem is they don't understand that there's help. They don't understand that every couple goes through it. They think you're just being selfish. Yeah. You're just all wrong.
Yeah, you're all wrong. Although the reality is that we're naturally selfish.
Yeah.
We're naturally
selfish. But you're so selfish that you think it's the other person.
Yeah, you think,
absolutely.
You think you're the angel, but then the other person is the one who's selfish.
So that's one of the things. And if you meet a couple who've been married 5, 6, 7 years, then you know that they probably have come to the end of that dream. Huh? Because what happens at a certain stage is like you stop getting to the place where you want to just always just excuse it. And you now start having real conversations. It's a very necessary stage because it's what helps you now begin to actually understand who the real person you married is. And again, once you begin to understand that every couple goes through it, it actually reduces the level of threat. Yeah. You realize, people who say we divorced because of we're incompatible. Yeah. I always laugh and I say, but everybody's incompatible. There's nobody who was born compatible. Even if you're identical twins, you'd still be incompatible because there's a difference. You're two different human beings and your family systems are different. Your temperaments are different. You're different people. And it's going to take the power of God and just patience. That's why the Bible says love is patient. When you're in love, you don't think of being patient. You're like, of course, anything she asks. But at some point when you say, man, if somebody met me and said, how's Carol? And I said, hey, you have to be patient. You'd know what?
There's no romantic thing there.
It's not romantic. And so I think this is the thing is like, hey guys, every couple will go through this. Some of you are in that space right now where maybe you're in a challenging space in your marriage and you're so frustrated, you're so fed up, you feel like your marriage is ending. And maybe the good news is, maybe I don't know if this is good news, but it's tell you, we've been there. Yeah. And every happily married couple who's lasted through the years has been there. Yeah. It's a phase everyone goes through.
And I think we're going to be talking about what is the best thing to do when you find yourself in that situation. Exactly. But maybe you can tell us, I don't know if we have time.
Yeah.
Do we have
what did you want to ask?
Yeah, just to say which phase, do they feel that they are like maybe a big source of conflict or just a big source of frustration right now that you're going through. I remember when we were, I really didn't understand this whole money thing.
Yeah, money can be one of those.
And money was just a big thing for me.
Maybe let's keep it to money then.
Yeah. And I remember I just used to look and say, how mean can this guy get? What is the big deal? So we were students at that time. We were students in the States. And hey man, people in the States floss, huh? Yeah. People were buying cars, they were eating out. We just had, I don't know how many times we ate out.
Oh, we had so much good food in the house.
Yes, it's like we can eat food at home. And
I made you nice meals.
So for me, I was like, really? We can't enjoy it?
But we finished school.
We did.
We had no debts. We even bought a plot.
I guess that is there.
You're a rich woman today. So and now for me, it was like one of those ones of, my goodness, this woman will finish us. She wants to eat everything. It's like we are broke students. What part of broke students don't you get? You know, so
Oh my goodness. But it was, I don't know,
Yeah.
like, really, we can
Yeah.
just work. For me, I was like, we can work a little bit more and make the money.
so it's funny. We can laugh about it now.
was no laughing
And it
matter.
wasn't laugh funny then. So now, I mean, I don't know if you're able to laugh about some of the stuff you've argued about in the past. But if you are, maybe you can just put a little what is a disagreement you had about money? What is an area you just did not agree on, or where you had some serious conflict? And that's when now your unrealistic expectations begin to be exposed.
Yeah.
I guess my unrealistic expectations is I expected you to think like my family. You know,
Really?
I mean, when you marry, who do you think? Your family is your template, isn't it? Now I've married you, you're in my family.
So what were you?
Your unrealistic expectations, because you expect me to act like your
Yeah,
family.
yeah, it was
exactly.
true. I mean, you
it's a
should
real.
know.
You're just being unrealistic. You should know.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that many people do in that stage is they say, but he should have known.
You were
Surely
thinking,
every human
yeah,
being
to
should know.
have said what I thought.
But of course, I'm thinking, who doesn't know that you'll
you
get
don't
broke?
eat all your money.
We are students. We're in the States. We don't have money even to finish our school, and you want to even eat what little we have. I mean, of course you should know. So yeah, I mean, we're expected to have money when I don't have from heaven, maybe. That's an expectation. That's an unrealistic
Yeah,
expectation.
yeah. Investment. That's Jude who says investment. We agreed. Then she changed midway.
Oh, agreed, and then the person changes.
Changed midway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see Jude said, they had challenges with investments.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges? And if you can laugh about them, that's fine. If you can't, you can just list them there and we'll just pray for you. But what are some of the challenges you've been able to have? And the fun thing I want to just say is, for those of you who are in that 1 to 5, in that space where they're still challenging, I promise you, you will be able to laugh about them.
Yes.
Some of the things that seem so huge right now, a time is coming when you'll be actually able to laugh about them.
Yeah.
Well, we need to move on. So let's go to the fourth one. The fourth challenge that every couple is going to face. Yeah.
Yes. And the fourth one is lack of a common purpose. And this is the why of money.
Yeah.
And Amos 3:3 says, how can two walk together unless they are agreed? And the thing is, I mean, of course, we know, we normally say we are earning money, we want to build investments, we want to pay school fees, we want to build a home. But beyond that, we need to have a purpose bigger. Yeah, a common purpose bigger than that money. Because when we don't, and you get the money, honestly, it ends up destroying
It destroys you.
Yeah.
Because when you've paid school fees and you've gotten all the degrees you want and you've got the holidays you want.
What else?
What else is there?
Yeah.
And that's why you find couples getting wealthy and then divorcing.
Splitting, yeah.
Actually, which billionaire? Somebody asked me that day, which billionaire do you know whose
marriage is intact?
Who was not divorced? And I think I could think of only one when they asked me that question. Warren Buffett.
Oh, Warren Buffett, yeah, but he's you can tell he has purpose for his money.
Yeah, but it's like
money
comes.
Belinda do, but I don't know what happened.
Who? Bill and
Belinda.
They divorced.
They divorced, yeah.
That's what I mean. So which millionaires do you know? Which billionaires do you know who are not divorced?
Yeah.
So basically, money comes, and because you didn't have a common vision, a common purpose, it actually drives a wedge between you. And so that lack of a common purpose is a huge thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because when you're broke, it's one of those things where it's even better you stay broke.
I tell you, I think
now you'll be praying together.
Yeah, you're there facing a common enemy called poverty. When the money comes, all of a sudden, I think people you become a consumer if you don't have a bigger plan.
Yeah.
So someone gets into just funny lifestyles. And that normally happens. I mean,
I remember some of our mentors telling us, especially the guys.
Yeah.
Because what happened is the wife was so busy with the kids, and then now money came, the business broke through.
Yeah.
And now you're in your maybe late 50s.
Even 40s there.
But our mentors were not in their 40s.
Yeah.
And so basically what they were saying is they just found themselves going through a succession of divorces in their group. Because wealth came. Now you're sitting in the golf club at 10 in the morning because you don't have to go to the office. In fact, even your workmates, your people don't even want you to come in because you're getting in their way.
Yeah.
You've got systems running and you had no purpose. And so you're just sitting there sipping your wine and thinking, what do I do? Make more money or what?
A young girl comes, she can give you purpose.
Exactly. So what's your common purpose, guys? It's that serious. Eric Schmidt, CEO of Google. He's a young man. I hope he will stay married even as he grows wealthy. And I hope, and I suspect maybe his Jewish background might play a role there. But that's a good one. Thanks for giving me an extra example. His CEO Schmidt. Basically, that's how I say it. But yeah. So after CVM, we've agreed she will drop her love language, gifts, and adopt service as her love language. That's Moses who says that. So basically, these are some challenges. What we're really saying, guys, is some of these things are, I mean, we laugh about them, but many couples their marriages are broken because of one or a combination of these things. And many times I find couples where you're like, it was avoidable, completely avoidable. And we look at them and we're like, guys, I mean, that's why you left each other. But at the time, it was such a huge thing because they didn't have anybody to help them. And so these are some of the, and that's why financial incompatibility is a leading cause of divorce worldwide, not just in Kenya. And even in good marriages will face these challenges that we've talked about. So maybe I'll just say this, that there are powerful forces that are unleashed when you begin to understand how to work together financially as a team. And some of the things that helped us, and maybe now we'll just conclude this, we'll land this talk. Several things that helped us. Maybe we'll just make a note and maybe you can note them down, see how they're working for you. The first one is mentors. Surrounding ourselves with marriages, older couples, with marriages that were working, you know. I remember just somebody saying, look at the people around you as you're climbing that ladder of success. Look at the people you're admiring and modeling your life towards, because you'll probably end up like them. And many young people, sometimes you're in business, you're in corporate, you're working really hard to be like your people in the C-suite, the bosses ahead of you. But when you're really honest and you look at them, their marriages suck. Their families are broken because that's what it's taken for them to get there. And I ask, why are you modeling yourself on people whose marriages are, that's what's going to happen to your marriage. Fortunately for us, one of the things that really helped us is, as a young couple, I don't think we were looking, we're smart enough to look for it. I think God just graced us. We're a young couple in a small church. We were probably the first couple who got married in that church. Most of the people were 10 years older than us and had great marriages. And that gave us a lot of models. And I think because of learning the power of mentors, that became something we always looked for. We always surrounded ourselves with couples who are older than us, who had good marriages. Yeah.
And I think that's why when we even did this course, when we wrote the course, we did it around the whole concept of mentoring, of mentorship. It's not a course where people just come and it's like someone gives a lecture and then you go. But it's around the whole mentorship, where it's a group of people, you have a facilitator / mentor, and where you're sharing your experiences as a group, getting to learn from other couples, how they are going about whatever topic it is that you're discussing. So that, because I think for adult learning, you learn best when you're learning examples. You listen to a video, but then when you come into the class, it's a mentoring space. It's a peer mentoring space. But of course, when you're watching the video, there's a vertical mentoring space there as well. So that's why we intentionally did it that way. There are many other courses.
It's not an instruction space.
It's not an instruction. It's a mentorship space. Just to ensure that people are getting just the help that they need in order to make the decisions that they need to make.
So that's a big one, and I really encourage you, get into spaces. Don't isolate yourself as a couple. Who are the couples that you admire? Who are the couples who've got a great marriage that you're in their space? And again, we've seen many couples at Couples and Money connecting in their groups and forming just these spaces with mentors, older, younger couples who can actually become mentors to one another. So that was one of the things that really helped us. Number 2 is shared education. This one was a big one.
Completely.
It's happened in many ways, but one of the big ones I remember is when we were going through some of our hardest times in marriage, you started to study psychology. And we didn't know what a gift that was.
It really was.
I mean, right now, I'm so excited that one of our kids is planning to study psychology because it really helps you. First of all, when you're studying it, it helps you understand yourself. And so I remember that you went through stuff, and of course, now when you're the husband and you're married and you're a broke couple, you're in each other's space in a small house, all our books are open on the table.
So you might as well.
So I was learning a lot with you. I was learning through over your shoulder. And I learned so much, and you would share what you're learning. And of course, we learned so much. It was so helpful to us. And so we began to read some of those books together. And one of the things that, as we saw our marriage changing, we promised ourselves, because we struggled looking for people to teach us things. When we were going through the challenges in our marriage, there's sometimes we didn't have people who could be real
Yeah, that was one of our biggest problems.
And so we said, we're going to be real with other couples and share some of the challenges we ourselves had. And so that thing about learning together, after that, we made a commitment. We would read books together. We did courses together. We actually went we just made a commitment that would invest in learning together.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the things that we found really helpful. Are you learning together as a couple?
That was absolutely helpful, because learning, just kind of brings you to the same page.
Yeah.
And so whatever issues that you're having, you're able to resolve just because of having that common understanding on that specific issue.
I mean, you could even have one of you who's a finance career expert, and the other isn't, and you've left your spouse behind, and they've just even abdicated money to you. But that's a dangerous place you've placed yourselves in, because they'll always depend on you. What if something happens to you? Just put a risk in the ability of your family to leave an inheritance to the next generation. So how do you make sure you're in that space where you're getting common convictions, common knowledge, growing together? And that's Couples and Money actually is about that, isn't it?
Yeah, it provides that shared education. And I really like the interview that we had earlier, where was it Harriet who said, you know what? In fact, I've never had anyone explaining it that way, where she said, it's for real. Family backgrounds is for real.
It's for real.
And I think those are the things. I think that's a unique thing about Couples and Money. It's possible to go do a money course. But what we realize with other money courses is that they are meant for the individual. But when it comes to Couples and Money, it's just helping couples just understand, hey, what are your different background? What are your money personalities? What are your different family backgrounds that are causing you to, to have these issues? And so, so Couples and Money, provides that opportunity for shared
grow together.
Education, and to grow together.
So mentors was one of the things. Shared education was the other thing that really helped us. And then the last one, and this is the last one we'll talk about, is community. Surrounding ourselves with other couples, with
other
friends,
like-minded.
Actually, you're so right. Like-minded friends, people we could learn from, not just mentors, but people now around us who we could learn from. That was such a helpful space to be in, because you find that there are couples who we just found also had a value for marriage, had a value for family. If you are surrounded by friends who don't value marriage, you go home early and they'll say, Kwani, you have a curfew. They look at you strange, like, what's wrong with you?
You're being controlled.
Are you being controlled? So it's so important, even at the office, to look at who are those people who will affirm me for being marriage-centered, being family-centered. And we made sure that we were growing with them. We even ended up facilitating marriage and being part of marriage enrichment courses, because there's a place that gave us that place to connect with couples who are similar.
We facilitated quite a lot.
Similar passion. And that really gave us a common passion. Just being around a community of people who are like-minded.
And I think Couples and Money provides that kind of a community, because we are saying, as a community, we want to help each other's marriages grow, but we also want to help each other's investments grow and our wealth grow. And that's what we want to provide, to do that as a community. So we try to support each other in various ways, supporting each other's businesses, supporting each other even in difficult decisions, like when CJ was saying that they had to cut back, I think, and it was a difficult thing, but I think they've made strides because of the difficult decisions they've made. I don't know if they'll be able to do that without a community of people who are cheering them on and saying, yes, you're making the right decision, that kind of a thing.
Absolutely. And like-minded people who wouldn't say, hey, why are you downscaling? Or why are you saving? Why are you getting out of debt? Why are you not buying the car?
That car?
Exactly.
Surely your wife deserves it.
Absolutely. So these are things, by the way, these are some of the things we found were just a blessing to us. And our prayer is for you as a couple, you will actually make an effort to surround yourself with mentors, with a shared education, developing shared convictions, developing a community around yourself of couples. And some of you have already done this. Maybe you've become very strong, you're strong in one, but maybe need to grow in the other. And that's a good place to assess yourself and say, which are the areas that we feel we need to be growing as a couple. So we want to just conclude, and maybe I'll just say, we had a really great story today with one of our couples. This was a highlight for me, where this couple was just talking about how they had given up on their marriage. They they came to they were actually at the place where they were just looking to do something
they were
that
looking
would,
to divorce, actually.
yeah, it was like before we divorced, and the person was told, just go to Mavuno. Before they were like, okay, it's the last thing we'll do.
Yeah.
And when they were there,
they were going to, after church, discuss how they're going to
part
and who was going to take which property.
it was
really
such a crazy story.
Yeah.
They ended up choosing when they had about some of the courses we've done, we've developed to take one of them, and they ended up doing it, ended up even taking Couples and Money eventually, ended up even helping many other couples.
Facilitating. They facilitated for 13 years.
I mean, they did not facilitated, now part of Couples and Money. And their story was so startling because when I heard it, I mean, it was just like, wow, like this is actually what can happen when couples just are at that place where they submit themselves to mentorship, to shared learning, and to community. And we're really, really excited that for all of you who are visiting today, we're excited, and we are so excited that you can become part of this community. So that's what we learn in Couples and Money. We talk about different family backgrounds, we talk about personalities, all these topics we talked about. We talk about how to communicate about money. We talk about joint purpose, how to have joint purpose for money, what goals you should work on in every season of your marriage. We talk about debt, defeating debt, which is why people are defeating debt here in Couples and Money. Tools to help you create margins to generate wealth. And we teach you how to become good investors together, and how to teach your kids about money. And the next class starts 15th of September. And we really welcome every single one of you who's not done Couples and Money to consider being part of this. And we really believe, just from the evidence of the lives of the people who've gone through this course, that your life will never be the same. So thank you, guys. I hope this has been helpful. I hope it has given some input into your lives. And if it has, I mean, that's just our joy that we're here. So over to you, our MCs. Thank you very much.
Wow, amazing, amazing, amazing. Just seeing some of the comments in the chat. Nahashan says, it's first time here and quite a take home, quite some learning. Violet says, wow, just some great learning from today's conversation. I don't know what you've seen, Kathy, on your side. You're still muted, sorry. Kathy, you're still muted.
You can hear me now?
Yes, we can. Then you muted again. Okay, now you should be good.
All good?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was seeing Henry say that I plan with what we have, but she plans with the money we don't have. And they don't know when to expect it. So those are some of the differences, and the differences, like Pastor M and Pastor Carol shared, or some of them are really to the heart for prayers, and others are for laughing. And we pray that this time next year, you'll be laughing at the problems that you've gone through, the differences, once you join Couples and Money.
Awesome. So I know there's some questions that have come in. And if you have any questions for Pastor M and Pastor K, Pastor M and Pastor Carol, put them in the chat and we'll be more than glad to address them. There's some questions. There's a question that had come in earlier, and I'm just trying to put it here. Someone said, we're in debt and need help. We are at the point of borrowing to sort the next issue. Where should we start from? That is a question that came in a little earlier. I just thought it would be great if we can answer it at this point.
I didn't get that, CJ.
This was someone who had reached out and said, we are in debt. We're at the point of borrowing to just meet the next need. Then that's how deep things are. We're at the point of borrowing to sort the next issue. Where should we start from?
Yeah, I mean, that's and I know that I've had a lot of, that's been a big thing of many couples who've come to Couples and Money who have shared how they were actually on the verge of taking a loan. You even had the testimony earlier, and how just the way of learning a different way of thinking, because many times the loan is the first option when it should be the last option when we've gone through all the other different options. And so I think for me, what I'd say is, many times debt happens because we didn't plan ahead, and it catches us by surprise, or we're caught by surprise by things that should not have caught us by surprise. And it can be a crazy place. It can be a really crazy place. I remember just one of my friends, just this morning, I was praying with somebody who was considering taking a debt. And it was such a heavy place he was in his business. And I remember just telling him with everything in my heart. I mean, he was waiting for some people to pay him. They hadn't paid him. And he just like, I just need to take a debt. And I remember talking to him about some of the things he needs to have done. But then I said, right now, that's not what you want to hear. Right now, what you need is compassion and prayer. And I just told him, let's just pray, because God is a God who is a miracle working God. And if you're at the place where you understand his plan, and his plan is that you don't need that to succeed, we can actually trust God for a breakthrough. And we prayed. And I mean, for me, I'm humbled. I was humbled when he wrote back an hour later and said, my goodness, I can't believe it. This person paid. And we didn't actually have to take the loan. And I was so excited for him. And I said, okay, now let's talk, because I really do believe that there are other ways to do this if you just think ahead. So one of the things we actually teach at Couples of Money is how not to take debt, what to do instead. And sneak preview, one of the things I just say is, it's like when the Bible talks about fleeing like a gazelle from the snare of the fowler. It's like debt is like a cheetah and you're like a gazelle. When you're being chased by a cheetah and you're a gazelle, you have one focus in mind, which is to get away. It's the only thing you think about. You just focus on that and nothing else. And you put all your energy into that. And that's why gazelles, most of the time, they say cheetahs only kill gazelles maybe 20% of the time. And the reason is not because gazelles are faster. The cheetah is the fastest animal in the world. It's because gazelles have one focus. And so one of the things we try and teach people is gazelle-like focus. What is gazelle-like focus when it comes to even scaling down your lifestyle? But it comes with agreeing, because what happens sometimes is one of you is ready to get into that place where you do all the hard steps you need to take, the other isn't. So Couples and Money is a space that gives you that oneness and helps you be able to come together where you're able to say, we'll do what it takes to actually not only get out of debt, but to actually move to the next level.